Hello, Reed.
Jeff Allen here. I'm going to respond to your post here on the OpenAI, ChatGPT, kind of the risks that are involved with the kind of reputation, the whole thing of the Trojan horse. And I'm going to put this video actually in my artificial intelligence AI solutions and ethics playlist I've been working on for the past 2 weeks, two months. Been making a lot of videos. A lot of them are responses actually to LinkedIn posts, and some of them are just most of them are actually responses to LinkedIn posts. Some of them I started generating, but I started creating some, and then I just watching LinkedIn see how this has been going crazy. So I'm answering a lot of these things with answers that I probably would have put in the posts anyways. So so I want to address a few of these things. The ethic, a few of these videos in this playlist are actually about ethical issues. Some of them are about intellectual property issues and plagiarism, copyright, and all that. And then a few of them, I got to get this headset here. It's a little too far away here. And then, and then I've got another few of them that give a few use cases that are typical where we see this. A lot of this is mainly, I see a lot of things like in the business and industry because that's where I worked in mainly. There are things in the education sector I've addressed, but the things where it can lead to lawsuits, basically, um, it this gets this gets into things business industry are going to see this. You're not going to see so much in academia, right? I don't think we're going to see so much because there's enough copyright stealing and violation that happens in the academic field already that hasn't led to lawsuits. It's not going to probably go anywhere in that. But in the business sector, well, because of the confidentiality aspects and the intellectual property aspects and all that. So what I want to do is uh, get address one of the points that came up in this thread about accuracy and the accuracy of content. And this falls under what I think one of my videos I did something about authenticity versus synthetic uh, content generated by coming from generative AI apps. And there's a lot of discussion about this right now. There's a lot about this of what is authentic and what is synthetic. It's basically if it's authentic, it's coming from a human being in general. If it's synthetic, we don't know. And there are more videos coming on that topic. But what I want to address here is the validation and verification of content. Sorry, I got a little bit of background noise here. They're cleaning up I'm at a restaurant, so off in the corner, so they're kind of just cleaning up the tables around me. But I'm in France, so they don't understand what I'm saying. But it doesn't really matter because this is not confidential, right? So this is going up on YouTube in public format. So the main thing that we're going to see, one of the key things we're going to see here are whether or not the content is accurate. And I made one or two videos where I talk about use cases, and they do talk about a couple of contexts. One of them was one of my peers in the field looked up his name and found out that he so-called he supposedly worked at the university he's never worked at, and he had made publications that he hadn't written. So that's one case of the issues of authentic, content, which is not verified. Uh, I've tried to do it myself, but I can't find it because all my stuff is copyrighted in a lot of magazines and book stuff and all that, articles that are and conference proceedings that are not published out there on the net, right? So that's why I can't find myself because most of my stuff is locked down in some book or something, right? Of just hundreds of publications and magazines where it didn't go anywhere, it didn't get out on a web page, right? That these web scrapers can find. So we got a number of the content that a bit of content that it's generating things. It sounds really fluent. And one of the people sitting here in the thread did say that if it doesn't matter when we put disclaimers in, I can't remember who said the disclaimer topic here in this thread, but it doesn't matter about disclaimers because a disclaimer, you can say disclaimers. Michael Covington, yes, Michael Covington. I'm going to cite him. Um, just it doesn't matter if you put a disclaimer because if it sounds fluent, it's going to sound credible, and so people are going to believe in it. So disclaimers have no value, real help on that thing. The one of the things, and there's coming up, the whole thing about hiring people in what it was in Kenya, and for low wages to go and do some kind of verification. That gets a whole another ethical in itself, problem itself. But the issue is whether or not it's validated. And people are using this all over the place, right? And people are actually using this on their own corporate content, right? One of the things I keep saying is we should not be doing this, and I've been saying this for years. In projects I work on, we should be very, very careful using any type of speech application, language kind of processor or translation processor, and that's a lot of what I worked on in 30 years. We should be very careful because we're just giving the content away, and that's why I refuse on anything I'm working on, any projects I'm working that have any notion of internal or confidential content, including patents. I'm not going to put this in any system, right? That's going to be that can absorb and scoop the stuff up and then maybe spit it out again in a place you don't want to come out, right? Whereas people have done this, and that's been shown. So the whole thing of validating and verifying the content, and I'll be coming with a publication of that sometime here in the soon. I don't want to talk about that right now because it's still being thought through. But I'm just going to bring up the issue of verifying and validating content that, especially in corporate and business situations. I don't think we're going to see so much about this in the academic situations because there's enough copyright violation, and plagiarism that happens in the academic field anyways, that we haven't seen a lot of lawsuits for that. So that's probably not where it's going to go. It's not going to make any more of them, or maybe it will. But we will see it in the corporate context because of intellectual property, and that fits into several different buckets, right? Copyright's one of them. But using corporate stuff, it's under NDA stuff, so it's a little bit different. It's not like it's copyrighted. It's not like it's published in some magazine or some book or something, right? Usually, so it's more difficult to track down than stuff that is under official copyright that has been published by some editor at some publishing house or something that has, or conference proceedings or whatever. So this is going to get, this validation cycle, I think is going to be key. And I think I'll be working on this in the next period of time. I think I'll be probably getting involved in some projects that do this. That's at least what I'm thinking I'm going to be doing here. So I think that I think that a lot of people are really unaware of this. I've attended a number of meetings of business users that really aren't thinking about this stuff. They're not even thinking about this. They're all saying, "Hey, let's go do this, use this on their stuff." I said, "Do you realize what you're giving away? Do you realize that all the stuff you're talking about and you're doing for your own business, your little business, your startup or your small business, you're just throwing out to a system to kind of suck it up and give it away to everybody else, right? It's a vacuum that will spit it back out again. It has no way to validate. It doesn't know what it's doing." So this is a key thing, and I think I'm going to finish up with one here is the intentional versus non-intentional aspects of the authenticity or the verification. I can't remember I actually made a post. I made an answer to this, and someone maybe Michael Covington was the one I said it to. I think I did respond to Michael Covington, but it didn't post. I did make one about. The thing is that there was another person that made that post about it being, we need to be careful because some people can actually, yes, I did, it was Michael Covington. I did reply to him. And I said that intentional deceit by human beings, or it's actually Bert, it was actually Bert DeSimon that said that the false claims that something being unconscious ethical, or maybe Michael Covington too. Yes, it was between Bert and Michael on that thread that we're debating on. They said the real people. Bert said that real people output false claims, and then too as well. And sometimes by being consciously unethical, people can be consciously unethical. And the question is, who does it more, the humans or computers? And then Michael Covington said that computers do it chaotically. People do it generally in accordance with their motives. And my answer to that was yes. Intentional deceit by human beings is often more predictable than the chaotic, non-intentional deceit of generative AI. because we can usually predict if someone's going to kind of do this in a way, but you have no idea where it's coming from when it's so it's random, uh, random stuff done by generative AI. So these are going to come up a lot of interesting things. There'll be people kind of focusing on this for a while, and this is going to be around for a few years. So it's just the beginning of the hype cycle here, right? So it's a kind of good time to be involved in it, and to kind of help move this in a direction where ethics is going to be clearly ethics, and it will be work streams and sub projects of these things for a very long time, because it'll be a major axis, major kind of topic, a subtopic that needs to be addressed in most projects, all projects that are going to this, because ethics can fit a bunch of different things, like I've just mentioned in this video. It can be the replacing people and all that stuff. It can be given to the copyright and all kinds of things. So there will be people that are kind of be specializing in this for a while, and to keep us online, because who knows where this is going to go. This is natural language understanding, natural language generation, especially NLG, is going to be it's going to affect a lot of people, and we'll have to see how this works, and how we're going to all be involved to give it keep it under control, put some guardrails up, and then see how it is. And I'll be do some upcoming conferences here, get them scheduled to talk about this. I'll be mentioning a few of these things as well. Thanks for listening, and any feedback is welcome. Thanks so much.